weirdest, creepiest clip that went over the internet all weekend. There was a lot of weird sex stuff that went around the internet. There's that young blonde actress lady who was jiggling her breasts, and I'm not even covering, I don't really know what to cover on that story from Saturday Night Live. That perfectly wholesome compared to some of the other clips that went around. Notably, this clip from Senator Karen Berg of Kentucky. She's a Democrat, you'll be shocked to hear. She is suggesting that perhaps we ought to allow pedophiles to buy child sex dolls.
I was completely unfamiliar with child sex dolls. So I had, of course, to Google it last night. I was a little scared to put it in my search engine, but I did. And apparently there is research on the subject. Not much, but there are what they call MAPs, minor attracted persons. And the limited amount of research that's done on these dolls, guys, suggests that they actually, for people who are attracted to minors, that these dolls actually decrease their proclivity to go out and attack children.
You can see the rest of the panel.
It gives them a release
head in their hands.
That makes them less likely to go outside of their home.
Okay, she goes on. She ends up saying, look, guys, this is conclusive. And it's kind of funny that initially she opens up, she goes, look, all these scientific studies, they're not perfect. There are very few data points to even reference here, and it's kind of dodgy science. They say, but this is conclusive, and that's why we need to create child sex dolls for pedos. And the crazy part about this clip is everyone is cringing in this room. Everyone in the Kentucky State Senate, they're saying, oh, lady, what are you? Oh, this is so disgusting. This is so awful. But what that woman is articulating is a common misunderstanding of how desire works. Child sex dolls for pedos are repulsive and intrinsically evil. It is intrinsically evil for the pedos to do to the child sex dolls whatever they're going to do. Even if this woman wants to make some consequentialist argument that actually it will reduce predation on actual children if the pedos get to it's just still intrinsically disgusting and evil for the pedos to do whatever they're going to do to the child sex dolls. But this is how many people think of desire. Probably this is how most people think of desire these days, because we live in the wake of Sigmund Freud, and we live at a time when we are told that if you have any desire whatsoever, it's going to build up inside you like a steam engine. And that's why every so often, if you don't want to go crazy and explode, you got to just blow off a little steam. That's what she's saying. She's saying these pedos, they're born this way. There's nothing they can do about their desires. And it's building up and building up. And so they got to blow off a little steam. And better they blow off the steam with the doll than with an actual child. The problem is that's not how desire works at all. That idea, which is associated with and comes from Freud, develops because of the technology of the time. Very often, we map our understanding of human nature and the human psyche onto the technology at the time. So today, we talk about the brain like it's a computer, because the computer is the chief technology of our time. So we talk about uploading our consciousness. We talk about downloading information. We talk about how we just got to process information faster, just like a computer. But 100 years ago, 130, 40 years ago, the chief technology was the steam engine. And so we talk about how you've just got these desires building up in your mind, and you got to just blow off a little steam or else you're liable to explode. But it isn't true. Actually, the ancients were much wiser than Freud and the modern people, and our civilization, as it had always understood desire, was much more correct than the people over the last 100 or so years. Desire is a matter of habit. Maybe people are born with certain inclinations. I'm not denying that. Even for the pedos, I don't know, maybe probably something just went terribly wrong in their lives. And there are huge associations with kids who were abused, later developing these kinds of extremely disordered desires. But I don't know, maybe let's just take this woman at her word and say there's some kind of innate inclination here or something like that. Even if that were the case, desire either deepens or begins to turn as a matter of habit. So the more you indulge a disordered desire, a perverse desire, the more disordered, the more perverse, the more intense it's going to become. And the less you indulge it and the more you cultivate other desires, the more virtuous and orderly your desire is going to become. It's like habits. It's not like a steam engine. It's more like a fire. Okay, if you feed the fire, if you keep throwing wood into the fire is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like a wolf or so. You feed the wolf is going to get used to that food. The wolf is going to get hungrier and bigger and stronger. Whatever cliche metaphor you want for this. Desire is habit, and desires actually can change. You're not allowed to say that anymore because the libs call that conversion therapy. Or so. It's kind of funny. They say you can't ever change your sexual desires in any way, but you can change your sex. You can go from being a boy to a girl, but you can't go from being a kind of a pervy guy to a less pervy guy. That's impossible. But of course, our desires do change, even beyond sex stuff. Our desires for food. If you eat a lot of sweets, you're going to want to eat a lot more sweets. If you give up sweets for a month or two, you're probably not going to be as desirous of sweets anymore. Maybe you'll eat some healthier foods. This is true of habits. It's true of exercise. It's true of work ethic. It's true of everything. That's just true of human nature. The more we stick with this steam engine kind of view of human nature, the more pervy the country's going to get. We're going to get a country of people living under Senator Karen Berg who are doing weirder and weirder things for sex dolls. And eventually the dolls aren't going to do it because there's no substitute for the real thing. Previously deported illegal alien shot 3 cops who were serving him a warrant for animal cruelty. This happened last week, just getting to it now. This is Stephen Claude Radigan, 48, opened fire on cops from Metro Police on Valentine's Day when they were serving him an outstanding arrest warrant at his home related to a 2023 incident that was involving animal cruelty. They weren't even trying to arrest him because he's an illegal alien. They were doing it because he was torturing animals. DOJ says he was captured by a security camera beating one of his dogs several times in the face. Now, probably if you showed this story to most people, they would say, okay, deport this guy. Even the liberals. And look, the cops came and they finally arrested him. That's good. We generally don't arrest illegal aliens who are in our country, even the ones who commit crimes. We often let those people who commit violent crimes just out that same day because of left-wing funded DAs who have been installed in our cities. But this one, okay, they arrest him and this makes some news and they probably will deport this guy. You know why? Because we now have a human face on it. And because people really like dogs. I don't really care for dogs that much, but people really like dogs, especially liberals. They go crazy for dogs. They think that dogs are babies now. They put their dogs in little strollers, They're probably going to start sending their dogs to college. So that works. If you put a human face on this, the libs are very good about this, putting a human face on things. And then because they control the media, they can blast that narrative out everywhere. We need to do the same thing. Illegal immigration. Even the libs do a good job about this with the illegal immigrants. They say, oh, these poor people, these poor asylum seekers, these dreamers coming over seeking asylum. How dare you? You want to send them back, these poor, sweet, doe-eyed little babes. First of all, it's basically all fighting age men who are just coming here to make some money, and they're working with the criminal cartels to get here. So these are some of the last guys you want in your country, all right? Frankly, the only ones that I think it would probably be good to get into the country are the Cuban ones because they're right-wing generally, and they're fleeing an actual communist regime, and they make good cigars. So those are and we're going to have any kind of illegal immigration. That's the one I want. And that's the one that the liberals canceled. That's the one that under Obama, they said, no more Cubans, send them back. We're going to repeal the wet foot, dry foot policy. Because they knew that the Cubans are generally a little bit more conservative, more likely to vote Republican, and they're landing in Florida, which is an important state for Democrats to try to win back. So it's just all completely preposterous. But what do we do about it? We've got to put that same human face on it. The human face of the people who are murdered, who are attacked. The human face of the guy who's torturing his dog. Man, what a great clip that was. Now, hold up. Ring that bell. Subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel, and we will see you next time.